Good question. Unfortunately, also really hard to answer. In most cases, you can't just look at a snake and tell whether or not it's venomous, right? So because of that, some general advice I like to give out. You just want to know what those venomous snakes look like beforehand, right? Where you live, plan to visit. Now here in the state of South Dakota, we're actually very lucky. Okay, we only have one venomous snake in the entire state. And if you are local, you've probably seen it, heard it. It is the prairie rattlesnake. There it is. The rattlesnake. Okay. Now, as you can see, this snake is really excited to be here. Okay, he's wagging his tail and everything. Now, the rattlesnake, it does seem to be really familiar to people. A lot of people know what a rattlesnake is, the rattlesnake, right? Now, unfortunately, because of that, these snakes do get a lot of crazy stories about them. There's a lot of myths that float around about them. Now, a very common myth that I come across, probably one of my favorites that I've actually heard from somebody, is a lot of people, they want to know what you would get. Okay, when you come down to this snake, and you count each segment on the end of his rattle, right there. Okay. Now it's actually a pretty simple answer. You get bit. Unfortunately, a lot of people think you can kind of tell the age of that rattlesnake, but how many segments he has on the end of his tail. That's actually not true. Okay, because he will gain a new segment each time he sheds. And rattlesnakes can actually shed anywhere from 5 to 10, almost up to 15 times in a single year, right? So really can't tell the age of a rattlesnake unless you know his birthday, right? Now, unfortunately, there are a lot of other crazy myths about these snakes. Another common one that I will come across a lot is a lot of people think this rattlesnake, he must rattle before he strikes at something. Unless he strikes and rattles later, the two are not really connected. Me personally, I have never seen a rattlesnake have to stop, turn around, and ask permission from his butt to bite something. Okay? Doesn't happen, right? You can strike, not rattle, rattle, not strike, do nothing, do both of them. Really kind of depends on the snake, right? How mad he is at shit. Now, kind of with that said, these snakes are found all throughout the state of South Dakota, like I said. Very, very common here. With that said, these snakes are really good at hiding. Okay? In most cases, people will walk right past them. Never know that they were there. Okay? But they are there, so you want to know what you should do when you come across them. Right? You're out there, walk around, hiking, fishing, gardening, whatever you come across them. What you should do. Okay? This is actually a really good question. Rattlesnakes are actually very easy snakes to deal with. If you come across them and you don't want to mess with them in any way, you really just want to stop. Okay, it is kind of simple as that. If you kind of look at this snake's point of view, right? We're these massive giants. We're running around screaming, freaking out. He's also going to get really freaked out, okay? So, really, in most cases, you can just stop. Right? Kind of figure out where that snake is, then just move in the opposite direction. Now, as you see, I'm actually pretty safe here at a couple of feet. He's not trying to run me down or eat me or anything like that. Now, I definitely know others prefer a couple of miles. That's also pretty acceptable. Up to the person, right? Super, super cool snakes. Now, this guy, he is a viper. Vipers do tend to be the more well-known snakes. Vipers are known for having these really long fangs. Okay, when this rattlesnake is fully grown, his fangs can almost be a quarter of an inch long. Okay, so very, very long fangs. And we'll use that with a really fast strike. This means vipers don't even need to bite their prey. Okay, what this snake will do, he will strike very fast at the animal. Those fangs will barely scratch that animal's venom is injected very quickly. Then he just has to sit back, be really lazy while the venom does all the work. Okay, very, very cool, very efficient form of using the venom. Man. So there it is, right? Once again, for rattlesnake, very, very cool to me, anyways. If you guys don't have any questions about...
How come she's not attacking you?
So rattlesnakes and snakes in general, they don't chase people. They're not smart enough to feel hatred or wanting to chase you. Right, it is all defensive. If this snake can run away from me, he'd much rather that.
What about its strike distance? Is that a myth on rattlesnakes?
So a strike distance about half to 3/4 of his body length. They can't strike like 6 feet away or anything like that. And it is kind of dependent on how they are positioned. If he's positioned how he wants to, he can strike up here. But if he has to like strike across his back like that, he can only do it right there. Got a question over there?
How does the rattle work?
How does the rattle work? That's a really cool question. So the rattle is made out of segments of keratin, the same stuff your fingernail is made out of. They kind of sit on top of each other very loosely. Right, I have kind of an example right here, right? So they're very loose. Kind of see I can stretch them. Yeah, you can look at them. Basically, he has 3 muscles on the end of his tail. Okay, and he kind of vibrates that tail and they just click together. Like that noise, right? There's no dust or no beads or anything in there, just pieces of fingernail kind of connected to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is actually one of the strongest muscle groups in the animal kingdom. It can rattle about 80 beats a minute, so very, very quick. Very strong. That's a really cool question.